Now, the second movie I rented from the library is gonna be Daybreakers. Daybreakers. This is gonna be short. I'm gonna try to make this short. Daybreakers was okay, and I'm gonna explain why. So, the premise of this movie is there was a vampire virus. All right. So the virus turns people into vampires, and humans are now the endangered species. Like everyone's heard this kind of storyline before. So it's kind of like Planet of the Apes, where instead of apes we have vampires who are trying to hunt down the remaining humans, and instead of slave work, they want them for their blood, like they're trying to farm them. So it's kind of like the Matrix. So in this movie, we follow Ethan Hawke, who's a vampire, who's trying to make this blood substitute they can so people can stop feeding on. I mean, vampires can stop feeding on humans because in the movie he doesn't want to be a vampire. Um he wants to create something that would stop vampires from drinking human blood, like remove their need. So it's a allegory to oil, to like reliance on foreign oil. So, anyways, besides that, also in the movie, there's also a plot where there's actually main plots they follow. One plot is if the vampires don't get enough blood, they turn into something called a subsider, and a subsider is basically this demonic looking vampire who is the result of a vampire who's dehydrated. And on the other plot, Ethan Hawke, he eventually joins this group of humans who have discovered the cure to being a vampire. Now, the movie was okay. I mean, acting was fine, and action and story is where I'm gonna talk about. Now, first off, the action. Well, maybe not the action. Maybe it's more on effects because is it me or did the effects look a little? They looked a little weak. I don't know. Some parts of the movie I could honestly tell it was CGI. Like it was so obviously CGI. Like I did not believe a vampire was actually burning. It looked like computer generated fire on someone. And also, I think no one has brought this up, but the opening credits looked very direct to DVD like. I mean, like, there's just something in this movie that does not feel like there was a big budget to this. There's a certain feel to this movie that it's more of a B movie than it is a blockbuster movie. And I think that's the point if they have this kind of subplot. The subplot, not subplot, plot. Because the plot to this movie is very, very B movie like, so I'm not going to hold it against them. But aside from that, my main criticism is the story. The story is not bad, alright? The story, it just, they could have worked on it a little bit more. I mean, like, the story is basically like, like I said, Planet of the Apes, but how they did in this movie is actually pretty good. I mean, like, they're going with the tradition of vampires, so they're showing the vampires living their modern life, like, regular lives now since they rule the earth. And it works, but my main criticism are just like, there's some parts in the movie that I don't know, just did not manage to. It just felt like they didn't look at these moments. And here, I'll try to explain. There's this one part in the movie where they're explaining something about the subsiders. Like, the subsiders are becoming a threat, and near the end of the movie, they're a huge threat. Like, they're close to destroying vampire society. But a plot point that they did not manage to bring up is, if the subsiders are this big a threat, it makes the vampires not very threatening. I mean, to the humans. I mean, Yeah, I know the vampires are very effective in hunting humans, but in the end, if you think about it, it seems like the humans are gonna remain on top regardless if they discover a cure, because eventually, if even like 1% of the human race survives, and all the vampires like die off because of subsiders, the vampire population's gone, and the humans, all they have to do is repopulate the Earth. So there's just like some parts in this movie that I just have to question. Like another part I had to question was the daughter, Sam Neill's daughter's subplot. Like that had nothing to do with the main story. I mean, it doesn't even seem like it affected the main plot. It just seemed like it was excessive. Like all they did was Isabel Lucas comes in, she's captured, she gets turned into a vampire. Then she doesn't want to drink blood, so she becomes a subsider. Then they burn her, and that's about it. It doesn't even affect Sam Neill's character. It just he's still, he's still a douchebag after that. And then also the part where they explain how the vampires become turned back into humans, which is actually kind of comical. Um, they were building up to what cures people of becoming a vampire. And the cure apparently is you have to stand in the sun for 1 to 2 minutes, then you have to cool off, and the vampire curse will be gone. I mean, all you have to do is burn it off. So I actually thought it would do something with like blood test or some holy ritual, but no, you just have to get burned. And that's exactly what happens. I mean, it showed Willem Dafoe, which is actually one of the funniest parts in the movie. They discovered this because Willem Dafoe was driving his car really fast when he was a vampire. He crashes, flies out of through the windshield. He gets burned for like a few seconds, hits the water, and then he comes out human. I mean, you have to watch it. It's probably the funniest part in the whole movie. And also, outside from that, if another vampire bites the human who was cured of the vampire curse, that vampire would turn back into a human. So it's it's kind of like I Am Legend now. So like the blood of certain humans can cure people. So I don't know. Okay, so closing thoughts. Closing thoughts on Daybreakers. Um, it was okay. I mean, overall, it was okay. It wasn't amazing, but for what it is, it's an okay movie. And actually, when I think about it, this movie's more of a zombie movie. I mean, like if you watch the ending, you can kind of see where I'm trying to get at. I mean, like when I thought of vampires, I thought of creatures who could turn into bats and and then turn back into humans and like unholy creatures. Like it's not really like that. It's more of a virus. So it's more of vampires in this movie are more of a virus. But overall, this movie was not totally terrible, but it could have been better in some parts.